a pleasure to have you as a lady who leads and a lady who communicates and a lady who deals with media, given the juncture that we're at. Why do you do what you do?
See, always remember in life, everybody has a passion. I love what I do because I feel people like us who are in the middle class or upper middle class of the society, we just sit in our AC rooms and say, you know what? The road is not right. Oh, there's so much of traffic out there that nobody follows the rules. Look at the hospital. It's so horrible. I have to go to this particular private hospital. I mean, I believe we should stop complaining. Shikayat band karna hai. That is what I believe, and get into the system yourself. Because if you don't get into the system, the wrong people are getting into the system who is not interested in changing the life of a normal Indian. You know, the poorest of the poor, to uplift them and let them also have the life which you have. You know, basic food, water, drinking. There are many places even now do not have drinking water, do not have a pipeline. I have a boy who works in my house from Madhya Pradesh's Rewa district, who does not have a pipe in his house because there are no pipe connections.
But why are you so passionate?
I am a passionate person by nature, and I feel always for the downtrodden, and that's because the way we are brought up. I still remember when a carpenter comes to my house, when a house was done in Kerala, or any of the workers who come to our house, my father has strict orders to my mother, tea with snacks for them. In between, they should get lemonade. So that is what I've seen. I was brought up seeing this. Whatever we have, money or whatever, we were told that everybody has to be given respect, irrespective of from where they come from or what they are. They have to be taken care of. And I feel it pains me to see when all those migrant laborers were walking, when the women were walking, a woman, she gave birth and she started walking again. It pains me. It pains me when a child wants education. It pains me when a child dies of malnutrition.
So you are an empath.
Child dies of encephalitis
yes.
or diarrhea. For me,
I
diarrhea.
Understand that. I want to understand where from your upbringing to being actually a dentist and a doctor, you have become a Congress spokesperson.
So
how is that working out for you?
So I've always believed in the Congress ideology. Now, when you are from Kerala and from a certain background, you have two choices when you're growing up. Is that I was exceptional in sports. I was a short distance runner in school.
A leader.
Sports, short distance runner.
A leader in sports.
Yeah. So more than a captain, I was, in the sense is 200 meters and 100 meters were my track event, and my field event was shot put. So every year I got the championship, and I saw to it that the 100 and 200, I refused to get the silver. It was always the gold. So and before the sports meet, 4 to 5 months before, I mean, we didn't have so much of training from school. I would go with my mother to a park early in the morning at 5 to run, to time my 100 meters and 200 meters, to reduce the time every time I do it, so that I defeat the rest and I get the gold medal. I only looked at the gold and not the silver or the bronze. From there, when you grew up in that sort of background, you're given more or less two options. As they say, if you're a doctor, you're independent, and engineer is the other option in the 80s and 90s. So for me, at that point, I told my mother, sport. I came back and I went, that's another thing I want to look into, is sports. So I told my mother, I want to get into sport in India, because I came back at the right time. And I went to one of these schools, government schools, for a training session. The kids did not have shoes. We were told to run without shoes. I was shocked. And I came from Kuwait, a very developed country at that point of time.
Kuwait was next level at that stage.
Yeah. So from the Arab countries in the 80s, Dubai was nowhere. It was Kuwait, which was very well developed. And I was like, Mom, I'm not going back there, And I just did not want to get into sports. So then the other one was, which I wanted to do, which I always love, even now, is fashion designing and fashion. But my mom said, the place is too far away, NIFT. I do not want to send you very far.
And then I was too far away from
Kerala.
Wait, Kerala.
Kerala. I moved back to Kerala. No, you remember, in 1990. So, and then I was a good science student. I excelled in science, and I liked my biology, zoology. I was not great in mathematics, but I was okay. So then the other option was to become a doctor, and I could do, see, if you give me anything, if you ask me to cook something,
You'll
I cook
excel.
well. Yeah, I because I work hard, and I myself, my biggest critic is me.
Okay,
I
listen,
would say
you
this
are
has not come
working
out well.
hard as a vocal person for an opposition that is finally enunciating things, given the fact that we are frankly in the middle of a rudderless leadership crisis. I'm sorry to say this, whether it's, you know, the economy or democracy or whatever. What is inspiring you to talk every day, and that to the most antagonistic channels?
See, if we let's not say rudderless. Mr. Gandhi definitely speaks every day, and he's trying his best also. So let's not forget one thing. Before 2014, the government was questioned. We had a free media. As you know, you come from the media,
Yes.
you were in CNN.
Yeah.
You could ask us any question, all right? Now, at this juncture, there is no free media. How many people, how
So why aren't
many
you heading a
channels?
channel versus being a Congress spokesperson? I'm just asking a person like
Yeah,
you.
so I'm going to give you the answer to it. No channel discussed the money which went into PM Care from these Chinese apps and the Chinese companies. No debate was done. Now, as someone who does not come from a political family, this was the opportunity I got when I just came back to India. I came to Pune. I was a journalist with Z News, a Hindi news in 2000, which is very shocking because I was recruited. They knew that I didn't speak fluent Hindi. Who recruited me was Surya Prakash, who is right now with Doordarshan. And I could read and write, but I was still recruited, and I worked there for some time. I made a lot of friends during that time from very different
Okay.
organizations, not just Z. So one of my very good friends said when I came back, he has always been supporting me. Even when I was in Dubai, he said, you know, Shama, you must speak up. You must be in politics. When I came back, he said, you know what? Why don't you join the Congress? I said, of course. And then, of course, meet Mr. Surjewala, who is also looking for new faces. So that's how I got in. And since I do not have a father as an MP or a mother as an MLA, I have to start from every opportunity, whatever I get. I was very happy, in fact. I mean, it's not easy to be picked up as a spokesperson of a party. Many people would want to do that. So I think I'm very lucky that way.
Yes, you are. It is amazing to see you as a spokesperson for a party. But I want to understand the other thing. One thing is speaking up, and also TV and communications have become like this loud noise because given the format, you know, of what we do. What are you ultimately trying to achieve, and what are your short-term goals?
Well, eventually I want to stand for elections. That is what I would like to be in electoral politics. So I need to tell, irrespective of the media being against us, not all, let me correct that also. There are certain media houses and channels and newspapers and digital media who definitely write the right thing. What we need to achieve is we will speak against whatever this present government does wrong with its policies, or whether it's national sovereignty issues, national security issues, whether it is to do with our economy. So we will speak against it. We have to. We cannot say we will stop just because the government has a one-sided media. The government is in control of everything, from most organizations like ED, Income Tax, the Election Commission. No, we cannot stop the fight. We will continue the fight till we win.
But the fight, and I'm telling you as a communications person as well, let's talk to each other as people who've been brought up in different facets of life, who want to speak up. I joined media, you know, after being a hedge fund manager. You have come from where you have, and you are just incredible at what you do. Where does the line stop between speaking up and creating sure versus actual strategy as an opposition? I mean, the problem right now, I hate to be brutal about this, is that some of us wonder where there's an opposition. And there are huge issues when it comes to factions and legacy and so-called nepotism. How do you feel about that as a young leader?
See, one strategy does not come into my part. What I do, I'm a spokesperson. How I feel is that I believe everything which is a small mistake here or there are just picked up by the present media organizations. For example, We were questioned continuously about the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, which had everything on record, for example, everything on its website, who are the donors, everything. But why is nobody doing a debate on PM Cares? They have banned 59 apps. Why haven't you banned Paytm? I mean, this is an app which has all the business accounts, which has all your bank accounts. Why not ban? Because it has given 100 crores to PM Care. It funded the last election. Alibaba has 49%, 40% share in it. I mean, see, always remember one thing. How does the enemy come to you? One, of course, it attacks you directly, and attacks you the other ways through proxies, isn't it? So why can't Alibaba be a proxy?
But economic and technological, wherewithal being a attack? I mean, at the end of the day, when people talk about banning China or whatever, it's like ridiculous. It's part of our GDP. We've talked about economics and efficiency. It is such a primal conversation.
Yeah, but that is what this government wants to do. It does not want to take on China. It does not want to take on China. The government of the day, Mr. Modi. Now, many of us are asked why you're questioning Mr. Modi on Galvan rally. The reason we question is because we got two different statements from there. Mr. Modi says that nobody has crossed over into our land and no army post has been taken.
Please.
But the External Affairs Ministry says that there has been structures inside and we need to restore status quo ante. Now, if maybe they don't understand the meaning, the Bharatiya Janata Party or the Prime Minister, what is status quo ante? Status quo ante is getting back to what was originally ours and what is originally theirs. So and of course, during this time, we have something called satellite images. Their own member of parliament, Tapir Gao from Arunachal Pradesh East, is saying that the Chinese have got into Arunachal. Yeah. Their own BJP councillors in Ladakh and BJP president in Ladakh is saying that the Chinese are in Ladakh. So what are we supposed to believe? We want an honest answer for the Prime Minister of this country. We stand with the Prime Minister. We stand with our army. But anytime we question, we are told we are anti-nationals. Okay, we are questioning the army. But let me tell you, before the Gujarat election, this Prime Minister accused the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, as well as a former army general, colluding with Pakistan. And these are sedition charges against them. So that time, is the Prime Minister not anti-army or anti-national?
We have seen it all, but as a chief communicator and someone who understands the issues at hand, okay, for me, frankly, and I'm just asking, whatever's happening in, yes, land grab is a huge issue. Dead Javans is a massive issue. But you know what really is bothering me at the moment? It's about lack of employment. Okay, I'm talking about masses and disorganized urbanization. That's kind of leading back to like this whole migrant crisis. What are the issues you think are actually important as a vocal leader? What really brings you up? Like, what is it that makes you just every day?
See, every day is the authoritative regime which we are under. Nobody can ask questions. You have to do what you're told. And the economy is at dire straits right now. There are people dying of hunger. Let me tell you, it's hunger they're dying after, even before COVID. We had a GDP of 3.2. It had come down. Now, you can't blame COVID. It was before that. Now, what happens is you need
COVID was a favor to the regime.
For the present government. Yes.
Yeah.
And also, let's not forget that you need private investors. Without private investment, nothing happens. Private investors are taking out money from here, not only because of COVID or anything, because of the unrest they see here. What happened during the anti-CAA protests? The unrest, every time there's an issue, before it was lynch mobs, everybody is let loose. Now you've heard 8 policemen killed by a gangster who was close to the Bharatiya Janata Party, who was close to the police, and they haven't yet caught him. I mean, what is happening? Just imagine if that gangster's name was...
They haven't got him because of
Fatima.
There's a failure democratic process. And who's to blame?
If the gangster's name was Vikas Dubey, you will see what would have happened other than Vikas Dubey. So if it is Vikas Dubey, there would have been chaos in this country. You and me had to go and hide somewhere. That would be the issue.
But don't you think Congress has to step up its game? It's not just about, having amazing conversations and this and that. There's something else that has to be done. What are the few things that are under attack right now: institutions, media, communication against a propaganda machine, okay, and credibility, right? As a young leader like yourself, who has absolutely no, like, you are not doing this for,
Money
some
or
gain. You're doing
anything,
it because you're a
nothing.
smart
I'm just doing it for my
woman.
people.
Exactly. What should we do?
Well, we are doing what we can at this point of time. We raise all these issues. You must remember before the 2019 election, Mr. Gandhi never shifted goalposts. He was very insistent on this berozgari, unemployment. You know, he was very clear on corruption, everything. You have to understand is this WhatsApp world and media really helps. Now, media, you see what these masses who go out and vote see is that the government is never questioned, the opposition is questioned. Whatever the government's issues are never
In
told
a
to these masses.
democracy, it should.
Masses get to know. That's what I've been telling my party. A WhatsApp part has to be much stronger, because I also remember my mother telling me, guess what, I've got this WhatsApp message more than what is on the news. And I told her, don't believe. She says, no, after you've said, I do not believe it. I mean, I have a friend of mine in Bombay whose mother is a scientist. She believes the story about Jawaharlal Nehru's son, or I don't know, half brother is Sheikh Abdullah. I mean,
So lovely.
this is a WhatsApp message. Yeah,
but
it's insane.
that's that
that's
generation.
what I'm saying.
But we have a level of responsibility as informed people with fact checking and understanding. So let me just bring this back again to your trajectory. Okay, you are this incredible woman. You're very attractive, and you are, very well spoken. How long did it take for you to be taken seriously? Because some of those traits are not very conducive to being, credible and such, God forbid you come from privilege and you come from like education and you look the way you do and you speak the way you do. What is it like to?
So 2 points on this. I think the other day I was debating with Rudy Pratap, senior minister.
I saw that.
And at the end of the debate, he said, she reminds me of this girl, she reminds me of my years, 30 years ago.
Jesus.
And, this girl who's young. And I had to
you tell him what
he
reminds you of?
I didn't want to. I said, I am my age is so and so, and I'm not a young girl, but I'm a middle-aged woman, in fact. So, you have to assert yourself, and especially in a place like Kerala, where everywhere else women are on top, I must say, but in politics, it's very patriarchal. I've been told many a times to wear white color saris because that's how. I said, this is me. You take it as you get it.
You've got your white earpods. That's fine.
Yeah. So you take it as you, this is how I am, and I'm not going to change. Then, of course, a lot of issues from my own party in Kerala. Being a woman, it is very, very tough because they don't take you seriously there. But then the only way, Fatima, the only way is assert yourself, never give in. For me, the thing is, the more the BJP attacks me, the more anybody attacks me as a woman, I get stronger. I don't get weak.
But is
then
that
it becomes
you
a challenge.
As a sports captain? Is that you as a?
That's me as a person. Because that's because of my mother. My mother is a very strong lady.
Talk to me about mom.
Mom, yeah, my mom has always told us to stand up on your 2 feet. Always earn. She's always given it back to people. If anybody spoke against her or said anything, she would give it back. So I have a very strong mother, and I had a very strong maternal grandmother, paternal aunts. So women, I come from a matriarchal society. Kanpur, which is the north of Malabar area, is a matriarchal society. Property is divided, given more to the nieces and daughters. So a very strong influence. My mother for the strength comes from my mother. But my knowledge of politics, my music sense of Begum Akhtar and Bade Ghulam Ali.
I love Begum Akhtar, and you are also Bharatnatyam trained person.
Yes, so Bharatnatyam is, the things always the but should hear is I learned Bharatnatyam in a Muslim country and danced with my bindi on just like our Bharatnatyam dancer has to do. And these sort of attack on, now they are attacking me on something right now on Twitter, which I'm not going to respond.
What's the latest?
Something to do with what I said, let's leave it. Let's not get into it.
Have you seen the description of your Twitter handle? I mean, it's like Dr. Shama Mohamed, Hindu and Muslim. I don't know what are you trying to say there? You're trying to say that you are.
No, I just wrote I'm a nationalist
and secular.
My culture, because when I was growing up, my father always told me, I was told that Shama, Hinduism is a very tolerant religion. And that's why we Muslims are able to stay here and that's what Jawaharlal Nehru did. He did not get religion after independence. He saw to it the Muslims are very comfortable in this country because he knew that they have fear right now. They would be attacked. They have the fear of attack. And he made us very comfortable. So that's how I was brought up. And he would talk to me about Gautam Buddha. But at the same time, I used to go for Islamic classes every day. I mean, every week we had in school. Plus, every Friday we had the Quran class in a school, Arabic school, where I used to do my Jummah prayers and come back. So I was brought up as a proper Muslim with all those things, so people look at me and think, is she a practicing Muslim? That is another thing about aspect of women like this.
That's another dimension altogether, because religion, at least I feel, is a very personal.
Yes, choice. Very personal.
But as a political leader, you could have been like this Muslim leader, but you're posing as a secular, vocal, modern woman who comes from, education and perhaps exposure. Okay. So I feel that you're being very true to yourself versus, shading it for PR.
No, because that's what I am. I'm an Indian first. My religion is not my identity. Let's remember that. My identity is I'm an Indian first. And religion is for spiritual reasons. And if you want to talk about Islam, let's not forget what Lady Khadija was. She was a working woman taking care of the Prophet. Let's not forget Aisha was fighting in the war along with the Prophet on the horses, riding along with him. This is what women were about. Let's not forget the first word revealed to the Prophet by Allah is Iqra, read. This is what Islam is about. Islam is very scientific. It's about science. So that's what I believe in.
Okay, so you
the real Islam, not the ones which are being diverted right now by people. I don't want to get into that, but
so we won't get into that. But listen to me: is there a good chance that the Congress Party will get its act together? I know it's an unfair question to just ask one person, because I keep asking everybody. Okay, away from this whole crisis of leadership that's taking place about this, I'm sorry, that there's a huge issue in terms of the gravitas of opposition. Okay, as someone who is working against the BJP, which for some of us represents a lot of things we don't want to see in this country, are things gonna get far more stronger from the opposition?
For sure. You see, if you see it, everybody, we are attacking day in and day out. We have questioned. In fact, we did a press conference yesterday on the PM Cares. We're questioning him where there is ambiguity from his side, where he is not clear. We've questioned him on his statement. I mean, it's not that on what he said on June 19th about the Chinese. He has never taken a word. He has never used China anywhere in his speeches. Then he says, the pertinent thing is he says that nobody's entered into our land and no army post has been taken. But then he goes to Galwan and says, we will stop the expansionist policy of some country. Now, if China has not taken your land, then what is he talking about? What is expansionist? Isn't he not being clear? So we are surprised what the PM is saying. So we would like the PM to tell us the truth about what exactly is he trying to tell. Is Galwan Valley with them or not? Is Hot Springs with them or not? Is Pangong So Lake Finger 4 to 8 with them or not? Satellite images are showing it's with them. Depsang Valley is with them.
That's absolutely incredible. But what I want to know is people are starving in this country. There's a healthcare crisis. There's a leadership crisis. Are you guys going to get up and just go for it now?
I don't think we have a leadership crisis. Mrs. Gandhi is there. She's leading us at this point of time, and she's doing a good job. The last time she has been talking about giving food to the poor free without charging them, and that's what Mr. Narendra Modi announced in his last speech. So he has taken the suggestions of the Congress party and Mrs. Gandhi, So we've been telling, and she comes out very strongly against certain things, and they always listen to our suggestions and reply to it. So definitely we are the principal opposition party, and we are making a difference. And unemployment, I agree with you, is very important. We need to give not just credit, but money to the MSMEs, money to our hospitality sector. Nobody's talking. Very important is they're 12% of our GDP. The hospital, we need to give cash to the poor, cash in their hands, like 7,000 rupees a month, at least for the next 3 to 4 months. That's what all the countries around the world is doing. So you are right. And what about COVID? Initially, they had in April, they had at least 10 meetings. In June, the meetings came down to 3. And now there are no meetings. So what has happened is that you took over COVID. You could not handle it, the prime minister. Then slowly he slips away and gives it to the states and say, you know what, you handle it. This is what it is all about. It is also reason for this. The reason for this is it is you versus I. The enemy is COVID and we are India. But for Bharatiya Janata Party, the enemy is Maharashtra state, the West Bengal state. But Gujarat is doing perfectly well. It has the highest number of deaths. So they have to stop playing politics. Then they spent they had 75,000 LEDs for the Bihar election campaign, which Mr. Amit Shah did, instead of giving free TVs and laptops at this point to students who have to do virtual learning.
Okay. So we are looking at a serious problem when it comes to leadership and communication. Given the fact that we are in the midst of a massive disruption, what are your immediate goals as a person who's as vocal as you, who's as informed as you? What do you really want to change on a state and center level?
See, for me, the reason there are 3 important. First, of course, is education. Very important to me.
But Kerala has a very high education literacy.
Kerala. So you asked me center and state. You asked me both, isn't it? So we can use the Kerala model elsewhere. We were listening to Gujarat model for a long time, isn't it? What is the Gujarat model? So let's use the Kerala model in terms of education and primary healthcare, and still better it in Kerala. We can still go ahead and make it better. See, we don't need to stop. We can continue to do better for Kerala. The other very important thing is population control, which I believe is very important unless we control. And that is by incentivizing people. I mean, you can say that if you have 1 child, we can give you a house, we can give you a gas connection, we can give you all this. But the minute the second child, education of the child, the second child comes in, we cut it all off. So it's very important that we control this population. It's just going out of bounds, according to me. And of course, we need bureaucratic changes.
Bureaucratic changes?
Yes, we do need. So administrative changes, not bureaucratic, sorry, administrative overhaul has always required, we do need that also in this country. So, and the other thing I used the wrong word. And the other thing is infrastructure. Very important to get a lot more private investment. See, if the country needs more people to come in, if we need investments, we need to have a proper infrastructure. It's very important. That's what he promised us when he came in 2014. But I don't see. Pune was supposed to be a smart city. There is no smart city here. We need to, I think, get our villages right. We need smart villages first, which becomes like suburbs around the world. The villages have become suburbs.
So the discourse about, and as we close this conversation, about, bluster versus delivery, right? That's becoming a big issue when it comes to people who are finally, stakeholders, whether they're their business or they're migrants or they're, people are not happy, about what is happening. Can you change this, and is your party working around that? And how can a young, attractive, fabulous woman like you be taken really seriously when it comes to what we need to change to go back to being a, not healthy, but somewhat okay democracy that thumps its chest on the back of liberal media and institutions and what we were healthier earlier. Can you do that?
Yes, the Congress party is working very hard. That I can tell you. And the other thing is to go to grassroots, go out there to the people. It's very important. We are there
But
with the
you want to
people.
do it with Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi?
Of course. Why not? What is the reason for that?
Why is everybody insisting on this?
No, but what is wrong? Mrs. Gandhi has led us very well in 2004. I mean, everybody wrote us off in 1998. Let's go back. Weren't we written off?
1998. How long ago was that?
Yeah, but
I'm saying for the last, I'm sorry to
let me,
I don't mean to be like, Arnab Goswami here, but I'm just saying that if there was ever a time for the opposition to get up and just, steamroll through what's happening, it is now.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that Mrs. Gandhi came in and she led us to 2 victories, 2004 as well as 2009 under her. So let's not write that off. She's the president right now. She's leading very well. And Mr. Gandhi is fighting. He's the only opposition leader questioning the prime minister, if you look at it. He's questioning the prime minister on everything. Which are the opposition? I don't hear any word from an Akhilesh Yadav. You know what's happened with BSP right now. She's agreed with everything. So
mainstream opposition.
No, but you're saying Mayawati is not mainstream. You're saying Akhilesh is not mainstream. I mean, who is questioning the present government? Nobody, including Mamta. So we are questioning. We are the principal opposition party questioning this government, because this government has frightened a lot of people like Mayawati, putting a gun on her head, saying the ED is coming to you. So that's the thing. We are not afraid of this government. We will fight. Mr. Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi will fight. Sonia Gandhi will fight. And the rest of the Congress, including all our senior leaders and the other leaders, are fighting day in and day out, including the spokesperson. We are not going to give up this fight, till we win.
Fantastic. And I hope to God that someone like you is at the helm of all of that. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.